Hello everyone, it's Andrew from IDB, and we are that roughly halfway point between flagship iPhones. And we're going to look at some great concepts for the new iPhone 8, perhaps? So this first concept here is from artist Steel Drake that kind of imagines a glass body iPhone sandwiched between two metal edges. This could actually make a lot of sense because if it does come with a wireless charging, it could be a lot easier to transmit that signal through a glass body. Here is a design of many that we actually have from designer Veniamin Reskin, which shows kind of a really full screen with curved edges going around the 8 and the 8 Plus version compared to the iPhone 6, which basically looks like what we have now. These here from Tech Configurations, they're a bit more on the drastic side, definitely quite a bit of changes in both of these two differences here, though the next one up I really like because it's very simple, very clean. It just really has a really thin body and a huge glass front on there with a kind of a dock on the bottom, similar to what you'd see on Mac OS. Here is one of the really fully thought out concepts that we've seen from Imran Taylor, which features stuff like a Gorilla Glass display, liquid metal frame, finally, that they've been using in kind of like the actual SIM card holders for a while, 6.9mm thin, a 5.8-inch OLED screen, wireless charging, Touch ID built into the display, second touch sensitive display in the lower bezel, smart connector, an A11 chip, dual 12-megapixel wide-angle and telephoto lenses, and 3D technology. Definitely a good-looking phone. Next up, we have one from Handy Abo Virtuous, which is a really nice looking concept again, which almost has kind of promotional images of like what you would see on Apple's website, talking about the really blacks you'd see from the AMOLED display, an iris scanner to kind of go with the Touch ID, many different finishes, of course the rose gold and black ones we've seen in the past, of course faster use things. They're thinking they could go with USB-C like we have on the new MacBooks, and of course other things like wireless charging. Really nicely thought out concept. It's got a lot of cool features. Here is another one from Venlamin Geskin over at iDrop News. Again, just that full OLED display with that Touch ID built into the screen. Concepts iPhone brought us this really nice design. Looks very similar to what we have now, though just a little bit more polished and obviously a much larger screen built in the front, really going edge to edge there, and a multi-touch bar that's also touch or sensitive right there at the bottom. Al-Hassan Husni also brings us this model here, which is also kind of something like what you'd see in an iOS 11 mixed with what we could see in the new iPhone. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of the similar themes here of that full, really big OLED display. Here's iDrop News again. Venlamin Geskin bringing us another model of it with a really nice kind of mock-up here. I really like kind of the curvature of the screen. I'm really interested to see how much I would like a more curved display, similar to what we see on other devices. We see how this can look in many different applications of looking at photos, videos, the camera app, really minimizing those bezels on the top and bottom. They do have horizontal cameras on the top, which is kind of questionable anymore. Venlamin also brought us this concept here, which is definitely another one of the very well thought out ones, almost kind of showing, really focusing on iOS 11 instead of what we'd see on the iPhone 8, but it gives you some good ideas. Obviously, you see here, there's zero bezel going around this. It is going literally almost to the edge of that phone along the bottom as well as on the top, with just a little bit of room on the top for that earpiece to come through. Obviously, we're also seeing what iOS 11 could look like, a lot of transparencies and things a little bit more clean than what they have looked at in the past. I really like the look of Control Center here. I don't know, something about it, maybe just the curvature of the way it kind of fixes into the phone, but Control Center is looking really nice here. The big thing that kind of bothers me about this at all is just the kind of the flat top compared to the curved bottom. I just think that's a little bit weird and very unlikely to actually happen. You notice it really here when we have that stark white screen, how it's just a big black bar on the top compared to that bottom that literally mirrors the edges of the phone itself. While in this concept, quite a few things changed in iOS 11, obviously like building in that touchscreen, Touch ID into the screen. A few things did not really change too much. They don't see apparently the notifications aren't changing much at all. I'm pretty much staying exactly how they look in iOS 10. Computer Build brings us this mock-up of the new iPhone 8. Once again, with that really big screen going edge to edge, kind of like the last one. It does have a curved bottom and a flat top, which again, I personally think would be unlikely, but they do have Touch ID built into the display, which is something we've been hearing for quite a while now. They do have the cameras on the top, side by side, whereas the stuff we've been seeing lately shows them more likely to be top and bottom, but who knows, it's just another concept that people have been throwing together. I also like the look of this as far as where they compare to the original iPhone. We've been hearing a lot that'll have kind of that water drop display, similar to the first iPhone that came out, very much curved around the sides. If we look at the smaller version of the two, not the Plus model, they still imagine that that lens is going to protrude quite a little bit, which I think most people would be hoping that that would kind of go a little bit more flush again, but again, just a concept. So again, rounding up some of the stuff that we've been hearing, wireless charging, vertical cameras, possibly some VR tech built in, integrating that Touch ID sensor into the display or power button in some way. This iPhone X concept, which features a full vision display, which if someone could tell me what a full vision display is, I would love. But this is a very cool concept. It has that big screen, but it does not flatten itself up at the top. It actually has the speaker built right into the display itself, and it does feature the vertical cameras, which again we've been seeing a lot of lately. So which of these concepts is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments below, and please check out the description for all of these sources. For all these, we don't want to take credit for anyone's stuff. All of the sources are down below in the description. Otherwise, subscribe. Till next time, this is Andrew for IDB.